That's right, it's a Positive Pete channel, but sometimes you just have to talk about the negatives. But I will say, I think overall Raw was a very good show. Because it really did set up Saturday night's main event very nicely, which somehow is this weekend. We'll do our predictions tomorrow. Because I was like, wait, it's in a few days? How the flub did that happen? And Jey Uso versus Logan Paul is main eventing. So we are living in the strange times. But yeah, everything we did at the end of the show was great. Like I thought when Bron Breakker and Paul Heyman were beating up Jey Uso after the Jey Uso Bron Breakker match, and then Sami Zayn comes out, he waits for Punk, and then all those four guys could spill off because they're doing the tag team match, but that leaves Jey Uso alone in the ring, so Logan Paul turns up bleeding for some reason. That was weird, and then he punches out Jey Uso just to tell you they're having the main event, and of course he's not going to win the World Championship. That would be crazy. It's just a nice way to finish off the Monday night show and tell you what's going to happen in a few days' time. It would get a couple of thumbs up, as it did over on What Culture Wrestling. Please do watch my Ups and Downs series. We do a proper review. Subscribe to them, and please do subscribe to me. The button is right there looking at you, wanting to kiss your head. But before all of that, Bron Breakker and Jey Uso are having a great match. Now listen, there is a caveat here. We were told that Bron Breakker doesn't give a flub about winning. He just wants to weaken Jey Uso because Seth Rollins hates him and Paul Heyman hates him. And earlier in the night, Paul Heyman had gone to Jey Uso and said, listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. The whole point here is that Seth is going to take that title from you, but I just cannot handle any more distractions. Now, in this match, it made sense. But the issue is, even though it made sense here, you just get them all the time. You know you're going to get them in the Judgment Day matches, which I don't have a massive problem with because I think it's been established. But you also got it in the Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, Sheamus stuff. And you got it the Lyra Valkyria in the Becky Lynch match. I actually forgot to talk about Ups and Downs because I'm an idiot. But when you go through each and every week, especially that pay-per-view, the Backlash show, only one match, which ironically was Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria, didn't have distractions and didn't have interference. Everyone else had these kind of shenanigans. And listen, people get me confused. I love shenanigans. I love nonsense in wrestling. That's my favorite part. If it went away, I wouldn't want to watch anymore, which is why I get very worried when lots of people on social media like, this is too silly for me. I'm like, listen, we can't take it away. What the flub will I do? But it's got to the point now, especially on Raw and SmackDown really as well, where I will watch every single match and go, someone is going to interfere. Someone is going to interfere. When they don't, I'm genuinely surprised. Now, the tag team match, which was Finn Balor and JD McDonough taking on Penta, and who the flub was it? Why can't I remember this? AJ Styles. What the flip is wrong with me? One of the best wrestlers ever. That one kind of got away with it because it was so good and it was the Judgment Day and my brain was kind of 2 steps ahead. But I feel like we're using it too much as a crutch. You may remember back on Ups and Downs a few years ago, we had the surprise roll-up counter. WWE still does that, but I do feel like they've moved it back a bit. We got over 100 roll-ups in a year. It was really high. It's like 142 or something, which is crazy given that there's only 52 episodes of Raw and 52 episodes of SmackDown in a single year. And now I feel like they've moved on to distractions, shenanigans, and again, interference. I wouldn't mind if it made sense with the story, which is why I kind of give a pass to the main event, but not really, because it's happening all over the show. But you can just tell they're doing it. We don't want Bron Breakker to lose. We don't want Jey Uso to lose. We like them to have a match, because that's a marquee match, and we can sell it. We can tell people, oh my gosh, come and watch. It will be amazing. But at the end of it, we haven't achieved anything. And if you like to watch wrestling with logic in your brain, if the deal was to beat the crap out of Jey Uso, why would Seth Rollins make 20 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it was? Just give it a few and run in there, and then beat the crap out of him. Don't let Bron Breakker take any damage. It's like an RPG. So it's just a personal thing. You may not have a problem with it, which I totally understand. I just think we need to dial it down a lot. And I think it needs to mean more. It's the same as anything. If I say the same thing over and over again, if I tell you that I love you, and I tell you I love you 100 times a day for 100 days, on that last day, it's not going to mean as much. Whereas if I pick and choose and I truly mean it from deep down in my tum-tum, it may give you an emotional response. Weird analogy. Shouldn't have said it. We've done it. So I think we should carry on together. But it's starting to not annoy me because I'm not a massive maniac and it's just wrestling and I can handle it. I can still enjoy it. But if we are going to put our critical hats on to cover our bald heads and protect it from the sun, which somebody may have burnt this weekend, even though he was using Factor 50, didn't need to know that, I do think we need to head in the other direction. It's become way too much of a staple for WWE. And because it is a creative endeavor, you never want to be able to guess things too much. Like, it's good to have obvious storylines, e.g. Seth Rollins will win that world title eventually. Of course, he has to do that to establish his whole point and establish his new group. But when it comes down to match finishes and you go, that guy's going to interfere, that guy's going to do it. And it's not like it happens willy-nilly. It's either to protect someone or, like in the Sheamus match, even though Sheamus still won, it's to continue the divide between Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. But they have been doing that for almost a year and a half, so that kind of drags it down as well. Now listen, the Lyra Valkyria one was great. She got a massive reaction, even though the fans were chanting for Becky. Great crowd all night. And that says to me that the experiment is working because it means people are now into the character. I think most of us were into the Lyra matches because she's so damn good. But now we're getting the personality over because she's going toe-to-toe with Becky, who people have decided, and they are correct to do so, is a massive star. But I mean, it was such a, not nondescript, that's not fair, but it was such a by the numbers, in a good way, it's probably what Raw should have been, show. I thought this is the time, this is the night to really sit down and discuss this. And I would love to know your thoughts in the comments, because maybe you're not bothered by it. But again, it goes back to that point I just said. It's a creative thing, and maybe I need to come to the table with more ideas. Not that I'm a creative mastermind, but it's always a little bit like, well, you haven't come up with anything else either, Simon. Great point, maybe I should do. But just as a fan watching and taking it in beat by beat, moment by moment, second by second, just coming up with something else that makes you go, wow, that was really well thought out, I personally would prefer. And I don't want many more interferences than distractions. It's just boring. It's just dull, because it would be the same if you did that in any show. If you had like 10 series of a television show and each one ended with, I don't know, the same guy dying. It doesn't make sense. But you know what I'm saying here, right? You don't want to do the same thing over and over. It becomes laborious. And WWE doesn't have the, what's the word I'm looking for? The benefit of taking time off. The season never ends. It's every single week. It goes and goes and goes. And while we can filter out people, so you may not see this guy, but you're going to see this guy, when it's the same old finishes, it all kind of merges into one. It's just become a bit too much for me. Maybe I've become an old man and I need to have more fun with it. But it just would have made that main event even better. I think that's when it stands out more, where I'm like, well, of course Seth Rollins would interfere because they're trying to take down Jey Uso. But I've already seen it 4 times on this evening, so it's kind of like, well, everyone's doing this, so your master plan isn't that great. You're kind of being a copycat. But we will see. Clearly Triple H isn't that bothered by it because he does do it on pay-per-view and does do it on SmackDown. I think maybe you just need to pick. Are we doing it on TV or are we doing it on pay-per-views? Because to me, I think the tipping point was Backlash, because all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, this is everywhere. It's like a bad smell and we can't get rid of it. But I am pretty pumped about Saturday night's main event. I think it's one of the best ones in a while. Got the Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest cage match, which was set up on Friday. Obviously got the Punk tag team match, which is a lot of stars. You got Jey Uso versus Logan Paul, which is totally mad. And there's something else which I can't remember, but it's decent. And we got Roxanne Perez on Raw, and we got Julia on SmackDown. It's a shame. You may have watched my video. I wanted them to be a tag team with the tag team titles, but I don't know what I'm talking about. But inserting Roxanne Perez into that Judgment Day mix as the teased new member, genuinely funny stuff. And given that the Judgment Day could have been broken up months ago and it would have made sense, to continually find ways that make them entertaining, I think is pretty good. Finn Balor is the catalyst for this because he's such a troll. He's such a wonderful troll. And she brought them gifts. She had chicken tenders. She had multiple apples for Carlito. Thought Raquel Rodriguez played her role great. And now I'm second guessing this. We talked about that as well. I thought Dominic Mysterio would kick out Finn. I think WW may have pulled an audible because, of course, Dominic Mysterio is super over. But does he go with Roxanne Perez? I would probably get him back as a heel because he would then go triple heel. No one's ever gone triple heel in the history of WWE, especially in relation to new women that you want a relationship with. It would be very interesting. The other talking point is kind of a twofold one, and it all comes in the Kairi Sane, Rhea Ripley, Zoe Stark match. Money in the Bank qualifier. Obviously, Roxy is now going to Money in the Bank. She won a very good match with Natalya and Becky Lynch. But here, Zoe Stark went for a springboard dropkick. And yes, maybe Kairi Sane was out of position. I don't want to speak on that because I hate saying this, I sound like an asshole. Everyone is allowed an opinion, right? When I double that down, doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, what your experience is. But as a man who does wrestle, I can tell you sometimes it's nobody's fault and things just happen. So you have all these people go, oh man, Kairi Sane was out of position. Well, maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. We don't know. There may be so many other factors here that add all up to it. But the point is, Zoe went for that springboard drop kick. They just collided together. Don't watch this. I'm not going to put it up on the screen. I don't like sharing that stuff because I think that makes me a bit of a, I don't know what the word is. I just feel uncomfortable doing it. I don't want to try and make money out of somebody's ailment or whatever the right thing would be. But the leg bent in a horrific position. She did scream in pain. She has had knee surgery before. People start talking about ACLs and MCLs, but again, we have to wait and see. But it was just bad, and it was just terrible. And it reminds you that wrestling doesn't matter. It's meant to be fun. It could be a life-changing injury. I hope I'm totally wrong. I want to be totally incorrect. I want people to point at me and go, Simon, you don't know what you're talking about. But that's the fear, especially when you have had one surgery. But just bad, just awful. In respect to Rhea Ripley and Kairi Sane, who called the match on the fly, and it was perfectly good, perfectly acceptable. Well, it was better than that. It was very, very fun. And this ties into the other point I can't believe. Rhea Ripley hits the Riptide, get the 1, 2, 3. There's actually a reaction of people going, I can't believe WWE beat Kairi Sane on her first match back. And they were mad that she didn't come in as a surprise. Now, first of all, not everyone can be a surprise, otherwise no one's a surprise. You have to pick and choose. I thought advertising her for this match was the right thing to do because it got me excited about the match. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And of course she had to get pinned here. Zoe Stark was going to take the 3, but Zoe Stark wasn't there. And surely in these moments when somebody may be in a terrible position in their life, we can take the nerd stuff and the geek stuff that I, of course, love. I'm a massive nerd, I'm a massive geek. Wrestling has thrown up on me over the last 10 years or so. But kind of just push it to one side and be like, who cares? Who cares if Rhea Ripley would have lost or Kairi Sane? Who cared if John Cena would have run down and he would have taken the pin? None of it matters when somebody could going through something that is super duper serious. So I just wanted to draw a line under that. Again, on ups and downs, I didn't give it an up, I didn't give it a down. Why do I wiggle my finger around when something of actual impact has gone down? But I just hope that Zoe Stark is okay. She had a terrible time of it recently. I mean, the Pure Fusion Collective lost 2 of their members and she was kind of in no man's land. She finally comes back. Now she's going to get injured again. Stranger things have happened. She may be totally okay and it may have been one of those freak things. But it was the only thing that actually mattered of any real importance throughout the whole show. So while she doesn't know me from Adam and while I sound corny and while I know it's really annoying, I get that. I just want to send all the positive energy in the world and just hope that she's okay, and hopefully we can all do that as well. Opening promo with Logan Paul was fine. I was glad that Gunther came out and ran him down. Don't understand why all heels had to blow smoke up Logan Paul's ass, especially Gunther, who shouldn't give any credit to anybody, but hey-ho, that's what we're doing. He still totally tore him down. He was like, if you beat Jey Uso, I'll kill you because you're taking my revenge away, and also you don't understand this business. You don't understand how personal this is for me. You are nothing. I would like to see that match, just to watch Logan Paul get chopped for a while, and it ended nicely as well, right? Because Gunther leads the ring, Logan Paul is distracted, Jey Uso super kicks him, then of course at the end of the night Logan Paul gets his revenge, just so we got this kind of balance to the force, but Jey Uso most definitely win at the pay-per-view, or not even a pay-per-view, at the big television show. But again, we'll do our predictions tomorrow. Then all the matches were great. I do want to point that out. The match quality on Raw right now is absolutely through the roof. And Roxanne Perez is fitting like a glove because she's just that good. And I like the fact that so many people are going for the world title. Like, Bron Breakker, you could argue, is in that mix, even though he's not. But Seth Rollins most definitely is. Sami Zayn, CM Punk, Gunther, Logan Paul, Jey Uso. It's like 6 to 7 people, and it should be that way because it's your grand prize. And it just means we don't know what direction they're going in. And we have to do Cena versus Punk eventually, surely, even if it's post-SummerSlam. Is that going to be for the title? Is John Cena going to have lost it by then? Is he going to go back for Cody? When do we go to Cody to CM Punk? So there's so many moving parts here. And by the way, CM Punk got a massive ovation when he came out. So if there were any plans to turn him heel, maybe we need to sort of hit the brakes on that. And otherwise, there was just a bunch of other stuff going on. Obviously, Chad Gable wants him and Ivy Nile to have Money in the Bank qualifiers. That will probably happen. New Day, we're talking about their triple threat tag team match for next week for the titles. We really do need new teams in the tag team scene. We talked about that. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory are breaking up, like we've said. No idea what the plan for Sheamus is. He's come back and won a bunch of matches, but shrug emoji, what's next? And of course, the reason Penta lost in the tag team match because El Grande Americano gave him the metal headbutt. So I presume either at Saturday night's main event or Money in the Bank, I believe, is the next show. It will be Penta versus El Grande Americano, which makes sense. El Grande Americano beat Rey Fenix at the pay-per-view. I still think we're building to the Lucha Brothers reunion, hence why we've kind of squidged all these people together. Maybe they're waiting for Rey Mysterio to come back, but I think he had surgery on his knee, so he may be a little bit of a while. But that kind of drew a line under Raw. It went super fast, probably because of the Rhea Ripley match being cut short for obvious reasons, and the main event was decent, and the fallout was decent. Again, I've already kind of told you my problems with it, but every match was excellent, and I think that is a trump card that WWE has right now, because that wasn't always the case with Raw and SmackDown back in the day. And I think when SmackDown goes back to 2 hours, I think in 2 weeks, I think the last 3 hours SmackDown is this week, and I'll wave my hand around for no problem. And my gosh, do I need that in my life. But I think the overall quality could go up, because SmackDown doesn't need to be 3 hours. Raw is kind of fitted into this 2.5 hour period, and that to me is the sweet spot. I never feel bored. There's always something happening. I'm always, entertained by something. I'm not 100% sure what people get in commercial breaks. I got a New Day promo they didn't even talk about. They were just pimping up their tag team title match next week, but some people didn't see that. Ludwig Kaiser, I don't think he was on this show. Someone told me he was. Like, if he is, I didn't see him. And then again, all the Judgment Day stuff is kind of on hold until Liv Morgan comes back, but that could be next week or the week after. Apparently she did very well in that film. So it's just thumbs up all round, other than the interference stuff. And I imagine that SmackDown will mostly be focusing on Drew and Damian. Is there any other SmackDown matches going on? Probably. I can't think about it. Oh, John Cena versus R-Truth, which I'm so down for. And some people are mad that it's a non-title match. Dude, that is so damn smart. For starters, R-Truth's done nothing to deserve a World Championship match. This is purely personal, because Cena threw him through a table. And it also, should you want to plant that seed of doubt in your mind, John Cena is never going to lose that title to R-Truth. It's just not going to happen. They wouldn't do it that way. They just wouldn't. They just absolutely wouldn't. So the fact the championship isn't on the line now means if you want to, and I'm certainly going to do this, maybe whoever is going to feud with John Cena next costs John Cena this match and he loses to R-Truth. It could be Cody Rhodes. That would be really, really smart because Cody helping R-Truth is going to really sort of light a fire under his ass after everything that happened at WrestleMania. It's the ultimate revenge. It shows that Cody has an edge, not Adam Copeland. He went to AEW. I'm all down for that finish. Again, I don't want to get too carried away here because I want to save it for tomorrow when we do talk about this. But I can't wait for that match. And that was kind of pulled apart on the internet as well. Why the flub not? It's Saturday's main event. This didn't even exist last year. It's a brand new thing we introduced. We have to have more fun with pro wrestling. We have to be able to come up with these matchups that seem totally crazy. Because if we are going to be fans for the rest of our lives, it is going to be well boring if we don't allow ourselves to be, dare I say it, sports entertained. I'm getting too carried away here. Raw, decent show, 7 out of 10 show. You can skip it, you can see it. If you do tune in, obviously the match quality is going to be good, which is why I'm such a fan of it. And maybe you're getting annoyed by shenanigans and distractions and everything like that too. The only way to let me know is in those comments below. Then you can like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which is me telling you about my most important wrestling matches ever. That's right, we needed more evergreen content, so we're getting on it. Otherwise, goodofmine.com/Simon. If you use code Simon, you get loads of money off at the moment because their new blue raspberry flavor is here. I had an energy drink earlier in that flavor. It's delicious. I know I'm affiliated with them, but I love them. Otherwise, I wouldn't take their money. I mean that. You may not believe me, but it's true. Otherwise, go to Cameo, search for Simon Miller. All of my personalized videos are there. They're super cheap because I just love doing them. TikTok, Simon J. Miller for wrestling nonsense, and it is Pro Wrestling Tees and Big Cartel for Simon Miller merchandise. But mostly, remember the message. Keep enjoying wrestling. That is all that matters. And make sure you stay healthy and safe and all of those things after the Zoe Stark stuff. Again, it's way too much. I'm acting like a right idiot, but I mean that. I care about people. I care about you, especially because you were very nice to give me your time. See you soon.